Hi YouTube lands. I am gonna hey YouTube, making some homemade tomato basil soup today. I made 2 pints of it and I've still got all these tomatoes to use up before I go out of town today. So I'm gonna make a video showing you how I do it. It turns out really good. And I often can this up. I've been sipping on this most of the afternoon, so I only got this much out of a whole pot. And I'm just going to reuse this because it's all going into the same pot anyways. So I'm going to get these chopped up and I'll show you what I do. Generally, I start with carrots, celery, and onion, and I chop it fine and saute it, but I do not have that. And you can do this with canned tomatoes or fresh ones. I do this in the fall and the summer with the fresh ones, but it works with this too. And so you'll need that. And sorry about the mess, I'm not home. You'll need a can of tomato juice, big one like this. So generally, I take all of these and I just put enough in a pot to fill the pot. I measure them by just sticking them in the pot, and then I will just take and cut the tops off. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. I'm just going to take and steam these to where they're able to be blended up. So I'll be back. So I have a few tomatoes left that I'm going to save. And these I've taken and just quartered them up. So now, and I'm sorry about the state of the pot, but considering I'm going to make soup anyways, I don't really care. I'm going to just take this. And I'm not going to fill it all the way. I'm just putting enough water in here to steam. So about 1 inch or 2. Excuse me while I put this down. So now I'm going to just turn this on medium and put a lid on it. We don't have to cook these to the point that they're really crazy cooked down. We just want these soft enough to where we can blend them. And once these are soft enough to that point, you know what, I'm not going to get on camera. I'm not dressed. I'm in pajamas and my hair's a mess. But once they're at that point, then we throw the tomatoes, and if you have the carrots, onions, and celery, you can blend it all together. I don't peel these. You can, but it's very labor intensive. I often core them or take the tops off. I didn't bother this time. This batch is going to be for me. You end up blending it all in anyways. And what I do when I make this for other people is I just put it through a strainer to get out any seeds or skin. And you can use the skin for tomato sauce, tomato paste, or juice. So I don't waste anything. With the last batch, I actually turned it into juice. I've got some soup here that I've been eating. This has got cream and Parmesan in it. And this is a tomato basil, so I'm putting basil in the soup itself as well as some other spices. And then this is the juice I made. I like the seeds, so I leave it in. Sorry about the kitchen. This isn't my house. I'm just staying here. So I'll come back when this is ready. Alright, so these have been cooking and I think they're done enough to where, sorry, I'm having a hard time holding the camera. Eventually I'm gonna get a GoPro I'm not there yet, but I have a broken finger that's been healing. I don't have it in a splint right now because I'm supposed to be moving it. So I'm going to just set this down for a minute and move this over to the blender. So I just did a video on being mindful, and I'll talk more about that in that, but this is a cooking video. So what I'm going to be doing with this batch is I won't be straining it. I am making this batch for me. I need it to be very dense nutritionally, so I leave the seeds, the skin, everything. Summer tomatoes don't get that bitter. So I'm going to probably do this in 2 batches. And at this point, I would blend the garlic. I do garlic, onion. I forgot to say that earlier, but I do garlic, onion, celery, and carrot. I would take and blend it in with this. So I'm going to do about 2 blenderfuls of this. That's plenty for here. Can't use this outlet, so I've got to bring it here. And I have to dump it into this bowl after I blend it, because I will need to, this pot won't be empty. So let's see, where did I put the lid? This is Mindfulness 101. Oh, I just cleaned this, so from the last batch, and I wasn't planning to do another batch. But these tomatoes are going pretty quickly, and I can't use them as fast as I need to. So I'm doing soup, and I would have canned these. I just don't have time, so I'm just gonna blend this up. So this is done. I'm gonna take the lid off, and there are some seeds, but I just don't care. It's gonna just be me. This one is pretty smooth. The next batch, I'm gonna leave some chunks in it. So I won't blend it as long. I just push the button and kind of let it go. And in this case, I'm gonna take the tomatoes out, and then I'm gonna dump the water in. When I do juice, after I've gotten to this point, if I'm canning the tomatoes, and I do this whether I'm canning or making soup, if I've decided to peel them and take the tops and cores off, I will take this water out and cook the skins and the tops, and I will make juice and blend it all up, seeds and all. If I've made soup, and I tend to do the juice, the canning, the tomatoes, and a batch of soup all at the same time. Again, this is mindfulness, but it kind of goes hand in hand. I'm going to have a pot of each. I'm going to have a pot going with soup, a pot going where I'm blanching tomatoes, and a pot going maybe where I'm doing juice. I'm going to take all of the extra pulp, all of the seeds that I've strained out of the soup, and I'm going to just put it in the juice pot, which would usually be this one. But I got to put this down, and I'm going to dump this in because it's just going to go in the soup. Okay, I've got the other bowl done. I'm just going to pour this. And I'm just going to add a little water. This rag is... Don't mind it, it's just an old rag. Just get the rest of that tomato out. So this is all tomato juice and blended tomatoes, and then church key to the pot. Tomato juice. This gives it a little more thickness and a little more flavor, and it fills the pot. So usually I do a whole can for a pot this size. Then I add the spices to it. And I didn't get those ready because I did a batch this morning and I put it away. So I'm going to put this aside and rinse it because she recycles it. To this, I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to add a lot. I'm going to add salt to it. And whatever else I add to this is going to have salt, but I will add some. You know what? Give me a moment because I'm going to go get the rest of the seasonings. Sorry about that. So to this, I've got black pepper. And I add onion powder even if I don't. If I add onions to this. So I'm going to do a bit of that, which isn't a lot. I know it looks like a lot. I'm going to do some garlic. Again, I know it looks like a lot, but this is a pretty good sized pot. We also end up adding milk or cream to this. I'm going to add some minced onion. Again, I don't have onion in this. That really doesn't make much. And it doesn't really taste like onion. I'm going to turn the heat on this too so it gets going. I'm going to add some chicken bouillon. This is where most of the salt content is going to come. Some people do this, some people don't. That's just how I like it. Sometimes I add noodles to this, rice, or chicken chunks. I am a bariatric patient, so I use soups where I can add a protein base to it or just leave it as a vegetable base for other people. I add protein powder often to this when I sip on it. I love it with cheese and some heavy cream. I'm going to do some parsley. I think that's what this is. Parsley. The base of this, the base seasoning though, this is a tomato basil soup. So that's what's going to be in it. I'm going to do some oregano. And I'm sorry this is shaky. I'm using an old phone. I do 2 types of basil in this. Basil is overpowering when it's fresh, so but that is actually the base seasoning. So I do, we're gonna do some Italian seasoning. I do both dried and I do fresh. You add the fresh a little bit towards the end. I'm gonna put the dried in now because I feel like with the dried it gives off 2 different flavors. And I also put bay leaves in this while it cooks, but I don't have any. I know there's basil and oregano in this, but there's other things. So I'm going to do Italian seasoning. You can do a little bit of pepper, like cayenne or red chili flakes. I'm not going to do that. And I'm also looking for seasoning salt. Come on. Doing this all one-handed because I'm filming, and again, the broken finger. So, where did I put that ladle? Stir this and let it simmer for a while. As this cooks, it goes down about an inch and a half, and that's when it's pretty much ready. That'll cook about an hour or so. I have to go get my hair done in a bit, so this is kind of my side project for the day. I'm gonna clean up the dishes, take a shower, and make some noodles for the soup that's being made for lunch. And I'll come back to this later. So this is where we're at with the soup. It's boiled down about a half an inch. You don't have to add that much juice, but I'm making a large pot. I did add some basil to the mix, and I'll show you what that is. I'm gonna cook this down for about another half hour. So the soup is done enough that I think I'm gonna turn this off. I've added some more seasoning, some all seasoning, bagel seasoning to this, and generally I use fresh basil, but I don't have it, so Tube of that has made 2 pots of this. Put part of it in halfway, and then I just squeeze the rest in. If you do this fresh, you have to blend it up because it just gets kind of, you get pieces, but this is done enough to where I'm going to shut it off. I've got to get in the shower for my appointment. And you can thicken this too with tomato powder. I've done that. I'm going to just let this cool while I'm at my appointment. This is how I serve it. There's some cream in there and cheese, Parmesan. So I'm just going to mix it up. I know it looks a little weird, but it's just a splash of heavy cream and the cheese. That's how I'm going to have it. I made some more with pasta in it for another couple of people. So it's been fun. Hope you guys have a good one.